Let's start from the past so that the present and the future, everything becomes clear to us. There is disparity in all boards. You will agree that probably getting a 98 in CBSE is different from getting a 98 in UP board or Bihar board, or, we have so many boards all across the country. So I'm not trying to say what is what. What I'm trying to say is there had to be a set standard by which, whether the child belongs to Gurgaon, Delhi, Kashmir or Kanyakumari, he needs to be tested and brought under a common platform. So this exam is doing that. Every child all across the country who's done grade 12 is eligible for this exam. There are 47 central universities in our country. When I say central universities, basically those are the universities which are funded by UGC. You will be very happy to know that not just these 47, but many other universities, the state universities, the deemed universities, have also joined in this exam. Now, when I'm saying this exam, you need to understand, if you do not write this exam, then you will not get admission in central universities or these around 80 universities who've already, given support to this exam. So this exam is very important, not to be, scared of. That is very, very clear. Moving on, we'll see that, Nepali, can we move the slides? I think we have already done that. So this is an attempt to bring every child on equal footing. Now, this is organized by NTA. What is NTA? NTA is the National Testing Agency. You have a JEE exam. I think everyone is very familiar with this exam. So that's not just for IITs. A number of engineering colleges across the country have accepted and given their support to JEE. So if you have a JEE score, I'm just giving an example so that you understand CUET. But JEE and CUET are very different exams. But to understand it clearly, if there is an engineering college in any state which says I can take JEE score, then writing JEE becomes very important for you. What is this test? It will be completely MCQ, which is multiple choice questions, entirely based on class 12 syllabus. My earnest request is, do not unnecessarily buy books, join institutes, run from pillar to post. Rather, get hold of your NCERT books, start reading your NCERT books very seriously, very sincerely. If you have thoroughly gone through the brochure, there is a line in the brochure which says questions will come from NCERT. Just to give you a little more detail, a lot of people may not even have it. It's the teachers, it is the PGTs all across the country who are making the question paper. So set your doubts at rest. कहीं से बाहर से question नहीं आने वाला. Question will only come from your NCERT. So, that is something you should be very, very careful about. Moving on, I'll just take you through what this exam is all about. Dipali, the next slide. Now, what you need to do, if you have to write this exam, right? And let's say even if you're writing NEET or JEE, but you still think that you want to keep plan B or option B to get admission. In my times, I could write a medical entrance engineering. If that did not clear, I could just walk into DU and get admission. But that's not going to happen now. If you want to keep your backup plan, you have to write NEET and CUET or JEE and CUET. Because if you do not write this exam, then your chance of getting into these central universities, 47 of them, plus additional 40 universities will go, astray, which is not good. So keep that in mind. Now, what you need to do, the site that is there on the slide, please take a note of it, because if the moment you write CUET, there are hundreds of pages which are opening. So do not go on a wrong page. It is samarth.ac.in, which is the official site. So this is the site in which you need to go. Now if I go on this site, let's say I'm a student, I have been told that I need to write this exam, I go in this site. Now there are two kinds of children. There are some children who are university oriented. Come what may, they want to study in DU. There is another set of child, or maybe you are one of them, who is subject oriented. Let's say psychology, just to give an example. So they're not concerned about university, but they're very clear that their final aim is psychology. They will like to do their higher studies in psychology. So keeping that in mind, you can scroll through all the universities which are now attached with CUE and see what is their criteria. Every university has different criteria, so but not to worry, all the criterias have been mapped by CUET. कोई यूनिवर्सिटी बोल रहा है 4 एग्जाम लिख दो, कोई यूनिवर्सिटी बोल रहा है एक ही एग्जाम लिख दो जनरल स्टडीज, कोई बोल रहा है 5 एग्जाम लिख दो. पर यू डोंट वरी बिकॉज CUET ने वो सारा कुछ मैप करके अपने पास रखा है. तो अगर आपने CUET लिखा है तो सबके क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल हो जाएंगे. बट व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट universities, you have to select the courses, understand what you need to do for the final admission in each one and apply. Now, if you are paying the fees for CUET exam, you do not have to pay any additional fee for any extra university. Your choice, you go apply in all 47 or all 70 universities. But I'm just telling you, don't do that. Try and shortlist where you want to go, but that has to be exhaustive list. You can't say आज मुझे सिर्फ DU जाना है और कल DU में नहीं हुआ, then you have nothing as a backup. So keep your main focus, also keep second and third option B, C ready and click those and wherever you want to apply. Look at your courses very carefully, like I said, because every university has a different criteria. Note down the test which a university needs, but do not worry. I'll give you a very simple plan. आप वो follow कर लेना. All the criteria will be taken care of. So it's completely online. It's different fee for different people. Gender categories different. Foreign, students, NRIs have to pay differently. The SC/STs have to pay differently. Dyslexic children have to pay differently. So I'm not going to talk about fees. Fees is different depending on the criteria. Now there are 4 subsections of CUET. Section 1 is languages. Languages are also divided into 2 parts, language A and language B. In language A, you have the main, national languages, you can say something like, just for your convenience, I would say English, Hindi. Those are the languages which will fall in language A category. Then we have regional languages like Kannada, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil. They all fall under language B category. So how many languages can I opt for? Maximum 3. Maximum 3. But not that you need to opt for all. You please opt for languages that you are really, really good at. Because end of the day, it's the score in CUET which matters. So you want to do English, if you're very good at Hindi, Sanskrit, French, German, whatever be your languages, you can just select from the list and attempt for those. But maximum of 3, no more than 3 languages. Then section 2 is domain specific subject. There are, I think, more than 27 subjects now. You can apply for maths, physics, chemistry, biology. If you're a science student, you can apply for accounts, business studies, economics, psychology. If you were a commerce student, in humanities, depending on subjects that you have studied, history, civics, geography, pol science, whatever subject you have studied, you can, write an exam for that. And the last section is section 3, which is general test. General test से लोग बहुत घबराते हैं. I have already received mails from parents where they are saying general studies पढ़ा दीजिए. So dear parents, अगर सारा कुछ पढ़ाया है आपके बच्चों को, तो trust me, general studies साथ में पढ़ाया है. We can't teach maths without giving child a concept of mental ability. We cannot teach science to a child without giving him the concept of, what is environment, what is science all around them. Logical mind. If we have taught you computers, the logic in your mind has to be clear. Mathematical ability, reasoning, logic. But just to help all of you, all my teachers are planning and we will do a 15 days module from 15th June to 30th June where we will take up all the subjects of general studies. So don't even worry about that कि बाकी सब तो स्कूल ने पढ़ाया ये नहीं पढ़ाया ये भी पढ़ाया है but so that you understand it more deeply we will do this once again with you. So I think these 4 sections are clear. Now moving on to the first section, I'll take all your questions, so do not worry. I know this is too much of information coming all of a sudden, might look like an information overload, but I'm there in school. Any doubts, you can call me anytime. And all my PGTs are here. We will take any query you have, so do not worry at all. So we're coming to language, just to further give you details. Section A has 13 languages, Section B has 20. I don't know if students have done any vernacular languages, regional languages, but in case you know Kannada, Tamil, Marathi, any other language, you could do that. English, definitely I would suggest all children should fill. Hindi, if you're very good at it. If you're very confident, you can get a good score, then please go for Hindi also. And अब आप बोलोगे सब कुछ नहीं आता, so board knows it, the NAT knows it, so there will be 50 questions. You have to attempt 40. Now this is a point I want to make very clear because you know CBSE children, they have this mindset कि पूरा पेपर लिखना है. आपकी टीचर्स ने भी बोला होगा बेटा कुछ छोड़ना नहीं भी आता तो लिख कर आना. That is the only approach which has to change. Because this exam has negative marking. 5 marks for correct answer, 1 mark goes away for a wrong question. So do not attempt more than 40, you will not benefit. I hope I'm very clear. 50 में से 40 बोला है, आप 40 ही attempt करना. ये गलती मत करना कि नहीं मैं तो पूरे 50 करूंगा. It may go against you. हाँ अगर आपके 50 out of 50 आए तो yes, nothing like it. But leave out 10 questions where you have even 20% doubt. Attempt only 40 questions. And if you are not very sure, do not say चलो B होगा answer, B ही होता है, C ही होता है types. Please, I know children do not do that. It is not तुक्के पर exam नहीं pass होगा. Information has to be correct. Negative marking hai, so might as well leave the question. Do 38 out of 50, but try and do maximum correct question. Now for this you will get 45 minutes. Time yourself. In 40 minutes, according to me, if you take my math, I don't know how good it is. If I was in your place, I would do the paper in 40 minutes because I have to do 40 questions. I can divide that and I can see how much time I have and keep 5 minutes for revision. Keep that as a thumb rule. Attempt only 40 questions. Try and finish the paper in 40 minutes and 5 minutes for your revision. So these are general questions. What the board says is it's going to be general comprehension, passages. तो आपको literature नहीं पढ़ना so much. I mean, a text may come from your NCERT, but don't think कि literature questions आएंगे. But a lot of grammar is expected, a lot of comprehension is expected. And the Pali ma'am and Shalini ma'am are there to guide you. They will look up the sample papers and try and share one English sample paper. Each teacher will share one sample paper of their respective subject with you, so do not worry. I think we've already spoken about 5 marks and 1 mark. So moving on, just to give you, these are the languages: English, Hindi, Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, Odia, Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu. This comes under section A. The next section, which is section B, has Arabic, Bodo, Chinese, Dogri, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Kashmiri, Konki. There's a long list, so you can read from this slide or you can read directly from the website. So this is children who've done French, German, in school, Sanskrit, the third language we have been talking about all the time. Look, it comes of so much help here. Now we come to the domain subjects, जो आपका core subject है. अगर आपको let's say maths honors करना है, तो maths का domain subject clear करना पड़ेगा. This I can say blindfolded. I have not gone to specific universities, but this is taken कि जिस subject में आपको further studies करनी है, उसका main subject तो आपको definitely clear करना होगा. Let's say आपको physics honors करनी है, then some universities might say physics भी clear करो, maths भी clear करो. So that may vary university to university, but this means your main subject. Again, it's quite based on your English. 50 questions, attempt 40. Only 40. इसमें लालच नहीं करना कि मैं पूरे 50 करके आऊंगा. बिल्कुल भी आपको pat on the back नहीं मिलेगी. 40 ही करके आना, 40 सही करके आना. Again, you get 45 marks, 45 minutes. It's MCQ based on class 12th, and trust me, the brochure is saying NCRT syllabus. So do not worry, it's all from, अगर आप boards के लिए पढ़ रहे हो, तो CUET के लिए तो आपने already पढ़ लिया. And after boards, your boards are ending on 15th, you still have 15 days. So dude, stay calm. ये मत सोचना कि सब छोड़ देता हूं, मैं CUET पढ़ता हूं. किसी भी पेड़ में फल नहीं लगता अगर उसके रूट्स वीक हों. अगर आपने सिर्फ CBSE पढ़ लिया और CUET के लिए कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ा, even then you will clear it. So keep that, core in your mind कि आएगा सब कुछ CBSE से. And then what are the subjects? All the subjects where you could do your extra, further studies, accountancy, agriculture, anthropology, bio, why you can see this biology/biological studies, biotechnology, biochemistry. Because if you want to do further studies in any of these 4 areas, it is the same subject which is under code 304 that you have to clear. Business studies, chemistry, environmental sciences, computer science, informatics practices, economics, business economics. IP board calls economics business economics. That's why this option is there. So do not worry कि // क्यों है. Slash सिर्फ इसलिए है because some boards call it economics, some boards call it business economics. But if your subject is there, then that is the subject you have to fill. Engineering, graphics, entrepreneurship, fine arts, visual arts, sculpture, painting, commercial art, geography, history, home science, knowledge traditions, legal studies, mass media, mass communication, mathematics, performing arts, physics, political science, psychology, Sanskrit as a main subject if you want to study, sociology, teaching aptitude. So these are various subjects, and this is a very progressive website. Subjects are being added every now and then. So don't be surprised that when you open the website, you might see 2 more subjects. Then we come to section 3. It says do it only if it is required. I would suggest do write this exam. I'll tell you why. The pattern of this exam is slightly different. There will be 75 questions and you have to do 60. They have kind of made it very fair. There are some children who do not have never studied maths in let's say grade 11, 12, probably have dropped maths even in grade 10. So they might have a problem in some questions of maths. So do not worry, you can just leave out those questions completely. There's a lot of choice. Out of 75, only 60 questions to be attempted. Again, 60 minutes. So this paper, 55 minutes mein complete karke, 5 minutes you need to keep for revision, MCQs, general knowledge, analytical reasoning. Again, each question carries 5 marks. One wrong question, you lose 1 mark. So not attempting is better than wrong attempt. I'm saying that again and again because when we send you for boards, we say attempt, attempt, attempt. When I send a child for competitions, I say select, attempt only if you're sure. So here you have to keep that competitive mind, and focus very clear. So this is just an example. If you wanted to do, let's say, psychology honors in Delhi University, they expect you to do one language from section A, three specific domains from section 2, any three subjects, of course psychology is a must, and other two subjects that you have studied in class 12. And then no, they don't need no section 3, because probably this course does not need your general studies paper. But if this is the only choice you have, let's say you are willing to do psychology in BHU, in Allahabad University, in some other university down south, and then they may need a general studies. But this we are only talking about DU. Aggregate 45%, but बच्चे 45 में कुछ होगा नहीं, I doubt. So this is just the cutoff. You of course cannot fail in class 12. If you fail in class 12, as it is, your CUET score will not be valid. If there are two children with same CBSE score, then CBSE also has its benefit. So do not take CBSE lightly. Again, another example of Bachelor Sciences, but I think you can look up these examples. This is just to tell you which board needs what. This, like, just for example, this needs your general studies. No specific domain subject they need, but they need your English and they need your general studies and pass in class 12. So this varies from board to board. Moving on. List of participating universities. Of course, there are 47 central universities, and as of now, last that I saw, there were 74 already in and around 80 which were planning to be there. So long list of universities. I'm sure you've already looked up the site, you have seen the form, the date has been extended. So that should be a good news for all. You can now fill your form till 22nd. And after this session, let's say आपका कोई doubt clear होता है, you can go back and you can even edit the form. So the choice of editing the form also exists, and please use it. If you feel like editing something, let's say आपने पहली बार भरा सिर्फ DU भर दिया, and today after the session you realize कि नहीं, खाली DU पे dependent नहीं हो सकते, let me keep option B and C open, edit your form today, add more universities. Moving on. So this is just the sample form. I'm sure you already have filled this. All the very best for this exam, by the way. The steps I think are very clear now. Now we'll come to the testing part. You're already clear that you have to pick up your subjects from 4 areas. Language in 2 parts, domain subject and general studies. Now the exam will happen in 2 slots, but not on one day. The exam will be spread out something like what they're right now talking, 7 to 8 days. But when all the numbers come in, all the applications come in, the exam may even be spread over 10 days. I am at least personally thinking minimum 10 days to this exam will be spread out. Morning session में आपका general studies होगा, 1 language and 2 domain subjects that you can write. So let's say आपने भरा ही खाली ये है. अगर आपने let's say आपका domain subject psychology है और economics है, और उस पर्टिकुलर डे पे इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं हो रहा, साइकोलॉजी भी नहीं हो रहा, लेट्स से डे 1 पर, देन यू कैन गो एंड अटेम्प्ट फॉर इंग्लिश एंड जनरल स्टडीज, एंड योर डोमेन सब्जेक्ट may then fall either in an evening slot or another day, but you will never have to do 2 slots the same day. So in the morning, exam timings are 9 to 12:15 because there is a 1-hour exam, and then there are 45 minutes 3 exams. So putting that time together, it is 3 hours and 15 minutes. Stay back, come back to the previous slide, please. And the evening slot is, go back to the previous slide. Yes, the evening slot starts at 3 o'clock, which continues till 6:45. Because in this slot, you can write as many as 4 domain subjects. So there are 4 papers you can attempt. You feel like attempting all 4 together, and if you attempt, but if your subject is falling on 2 separate days, you can even pick up your day and attempt on separate days. आपको लग रहा है आज साइकोलॉजी देते हैं, इकोनॉमिक्स 2 दिन बाद देंगे, you can do that. But if your admit card is generated in such a way that you do not have a choice, a little clarity about that is still missing, then you might have to do it on the same day. But in no condition will you be asked to write more than 4 papers a day. Yes, max 4 papers. Moving on. So last date, like I told you, has been extended. We are expecting this exam in July, and the admit cards obviously will be there by end of June for each one of you. Last date, I think this also has, we have already discussed this. Okay, now I think we've already covered this. Let's move on. General studies has been covered. This is how the online platform looks like. I'm sure you've already taken a look of this. Moving on. We have already discussed the languages. If there are any doubts, we will come back on the slide. Moving on. The online application form. I think this probably is a duplicate slide. Moving on. I think the domain areas have been discussed. Moving on. All right, this is important. This slide is important. Now, what is that you should pick? आपको क्या करना चाहिए? और आप maximum क्या कर सकते हो? That's very important. So, maximum you can write 9 subjects. What are those 9 subjects? Maximum. You can do your general studies. You can do your 5 domain, 5 plus 1, 6, and 3 languages. That's the maximum you can do. Let's say if you do 2 languages, then you can increase 1 domain subject and general studies. ये आप maximum exam लिख सकते हो. So don't think कि मैं 9 से ज़्यादा लिख पाऊंगा. The upper limit that you can write is 9, but this upper limit is good enough. If you've written these 9 papers, you will be, good and eligible for all universities by and large. But do take your general studies, do take your language, and then the domain subjects. Extra लिख कर रखो because extra subjects के extra score आएंगे. Let's say you're not very good in one subject, you are a commerce student, but you're not very good with business studies. Take that test because maybe some university needs it. और अगर नहीं भी use होगा, do not worry, you can keep that score aside. पूरी की पूरी mark sheet लेकर नहीं जाना. You can just say my economics marks are these, my accountancy marks are these, my English marks are these, based on these 3 I want admission. So no one will say कि business studies में तो बेटा बहुत कम आए. So don't worry on that. You must try each one to write 9 exams. I hope I'm clear there. Next. Section A, one language. This is like, the slots, the timings for your exam. So in one slot, you can write only one language. अगर आपने English, हिंदी दोनों लिया है, तो आप वो same day नहीं लिख पाओगे. Because in one slot, you can give exam for only one language, 2 domain subjects and general studies. And in the other slot, you can give exam for 1 language and maximum of 4 domain subjects or 2 languages and 3 domain subjects. But not all 9 in one day. Again, like I said, 4 exams, not more than that in a single day. Next. This right now is happening only in July, but as the conversation has started, which probably will not help this batch, but for the teachers, I'm just telling everyone that they are now talking about doing this exam twice a year. So maybe the next batch will have it twice a year. Multiple application a child will not have to fill. So I think it's a beautiful thing. One common platform. I fill one application. I can apply across the country. So your, problem of going, in my times, trust me, we had to go college to college. So I went to Venkateshwara, I went to Hindu, I went to Stephens, I went to each and every college and pulled out the application form of each and every college, filled each and every, whichever I wanted to fill, I filled, I had to submit, pay fees separately, look at their criteria separately. All that trouble is gone. No hard copies you have to use anywhere. Everything is online. There is a DigiLocker where you can upload your documents, and whatever problems you are facing, please write those to us. All principals can, forward the issues directly to NTA. If they also are starting something called a helpline. So if you have a problem, you can also report it to them. So no hard copies. I think it's in big way a lot of time saving. And read the instructions on your admit card very, very carefully. So this, of course, so like I think we started with this. Don't just keep a plan A, keep plan B ready. That's why I said the best way out is at least apply in 6 to 7 universities, 6 to 7 courses, and write all 9 exams. अगर आपने ये दो चीजें की, तो you don't have to worry. All your choices will be open, and you should get admission in your deserving college. At least this is a fair game, fairly played on a fair ground where someone who doesn't deserve a seat is not going to get the seat. Trust me, parents, children, everyone around who's listening, I think this is the fairest deal which could come across. Sometimes you must have seen videos, they will say this child got 98%, and when they ask him what is the capital of India, question mark. So I'm not going to take you there. What I'm trying to say is, if you know the subject, if you studied for 2 years, nothing will stop your admission in best university of this country. Yes? So the help desk is there. This we have already shared with you. End of the session, Dipali ma'am, please share this again. The official website. So don't worry about noting it down right now. We'll share all the details, the numbers, the syllabus, FAQs, application guide, and university list. All that we will share, which is the main help desk. And now I would like to take up your queries, doubts, anyone. We'll start with children, parents, and then teachers. If you have any doubts, you can unmute, switch on your camera and ask. I may be able to answer it, or at least I will take it forward with NTA, and we can send your question there. You can raise your hand. There's a digital hand. If you have a question, please raise your digital hand. IT teachers, you can just see who's raising a hand, then pin them and give them a chance to ask a question.
As of now, ma'am, there are no hands raised.
Okay, I saw a question in chat box.
No, ma'am, there are no.
While I was talking, I saw something came on a chat box. I see a raise of hand now.
We have one hand raised now.
Yeah.
Yes. Sushil Mittal. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Sushil. Thank you very much for organizing this session. Very, very useful. Just wanted to ask one question. I have already filled this form for my daughter, but at the time, the number of universities, like probably 8 to 10, I filled almost a couple of weeks back. But I see now the number of universities are increasing. They are more participating. So is it like, do I need to fill all the universities what I am looking for upfront, or once the results are announced, even after that, can I fill the form for other universities on basis of my scores?
All right, so that's a very good question, sir, and you're right. It started with only 47 universities and now it has come to 80. Upfront filling may you have nothing to lose because you don't pay extra for every university that you fill. I think just to stay safe, आप भर दीजिए. Whichever universities you are targeting, because I understand mostly parents will either want their child to study in a particular state, a particular subject. So keeping that in mind, आपके कितने choices होंगे? 15, 20, जितने भी आपके choices हैं, उनको एक बार भर दीजिए. This is the first time this exam is happening. So they may be a little flexible. They might just say कि आपने पहले नहीं भरा था, फिर भी we will allow. But now that we've got to know that upfront filling is free of cost, my suggestion is editing is open, dates have been extended. Please edit and fill all your choices.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And Ria, your question now?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. This is Nitin. I am Ria's father. The session is very, very helpful, ma'am. Thank you for conducting this. We appreciate it. Ma'am, one question is like Ria is in non-medical. So she has also filled up the JEE mains and other examination. So one thing which I'm not clear about is like for engineering courses, do we need to fill this CUET as well? Because there are a couple of courses what I see like out of 47 universities, I've not seen the 80 universities. I think most of the engineering courses are aligned with the JEE, but there are one or two engineering courses also which I see under CUET. So what is the guidance for non-medical students, ma'am?
Sir, if your child wants to do engineering,
Yes.
then CUET is not must. But let's say at a later date, the child changes a plan, wants to do some engineering subject in some university.
Okay.
That can also be a plan B. Then this exam will come handy.
Okay.
You will still get your JEE seat without this because that's a centralized exam. And since this has come, let me tell everyone that JEE exam, the ratio of selection is 1:50. But CUET exam, the ratio of selection, what NTA has already declared is 1:5. It's comparatively a much simpler exam. So even if your child is writing JEE, there is no harm आप ये exam लिखवा दीजिए. This will only serve as a practice for the child. And let's say for any reason, if she changes her mind, wants to go to a university, do some engineering subject or pure physics, pure maths, a lot of engineers, sometimes they want to do it. This is only for that, but not for engineering. अगर आप you're very clear कि DTU से computer science पढ़ना है, तो CUET नहीं चाहिए. Then JEE is enough.
Fine, ma'am. So this is more about like if let's say she doesn't get or like we don't get the course what we were intending to do it in JEE. So this can be a backup to do a specific, let's say, maths course or a
and then the top universities of this country under one portal you're getting the centralized 47 universities of the country. So you may just give that a second option, but this is only for option B for engineering students.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. This is.
Miss Manju Munjal, your question.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for apprising us about the exam. It was really required. And one doubt I have, ma'am, like we have the language section there. So if let's say my daughter wants to attempt for French in section B, so is it compulsory to have that subject in 11th, 12th as well? Or
no, not really. You should have the knowledge.
Okay.
Not necessarily the subject. And Manju's question also reminds me there is one more thing I wanted to clarify for all teachers and parents. There is one subject, only one test happening for computers. So whether you've studied CS or IP, you have to write the common exam. So you might wonder कि ये कैसे होगा? My child has studied a different subject. So there will be a section A of computer science, section B of IP and some general question. So your child will then do within computer paper, general section plus IP or plus CS. Likewise, if your child has studied maths or applied maths, even that paper is divided into 3 parts. There is a section for general questions, there is a section for basic maths, standard maths, and applied maths. So your child can do main general questions and applied maths or general questions and main maths. And what a beautiful thing, even if a child has done applied maths but has done it really well and the concepts are clear, that child can tomorrow do maths honors in D. So this is the advantage it brings on your table कि रट के university में admission नहीं होंगे. If your concepts are clear, if you're thorough with your concepts, then you will get admission. So Manju, that can be done. I hope I've answered your question, but your question reminded me of something else which I thought was left out. So that's why I just took that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mittal again. Yes, sir. Your question?
Yeah, ma'am, just one more question. So,
yes.
Ma'am, like, for example, is it mandatory to pick language from section 1B as well? Like if I have picked one language from 1A, do I need to pick another language from 1B as well?
Not at all, not at all. You can just pick only one language. Even with that, most of the universities are giving admission. This actually, the second criteria is more for children who want to just pursue. There are some children who want to do, let's say, BSc in French or want to do masters in German. It's more for them. आप खाली एक single language कर सकते हैं, but maximum 3 भी कर सकते हैं. But there is no fixed criteria कि आपको section B से कुछ उठाना है. You can just pick one language also from section A. Section A से एक उठाना जरूरी है.
Okay,
Again,
ma'am.
for
Okay.
most of the universities, I'll not be surprised कि कोई एक university बोल रही है कि आप सिर्फ general studies लिख दो, we don't want anything. But most of the universities are asking for one language and at least one domain subject or 2 domain subjects or general test. वो आपको university की website से मतलब details से, not website, same website में details पढ़ के clear हो जाएगा. But one language you have to do. B को आप छोड़ सकते हैं complete.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions? Anyone else with any more questions?
Teachers, if you have any questions.
I don't think, ma'am. I think we have actually learned a lot in today's session.